Hey there, it's Dawn from Designs by Gaddis. I am thrilled to share with you some incredible DIY home projects that won't break the bank. With just a few budget-friendly items, we will transform your living space into the home of your dreams. So let's get started and create some amazing home decor together. For this DIY, I'm going to show you how to create a Boho Farmhouse-inspired recreation using 4 little wood boxes from Dollar Tree. First things first, make sure you label each drawer with the corresponding box to avoid any confusion. Most of the time, these boxes are not the exact same size, and trying to match them up afterwards is a pain. To attach the boxes, I'm using a new E6000 repositionable glue from my Amazon store. But you can use wood glue for this step. Apply a generous amount and place 2 boxes together. Repeat with the other 2 boxes. Then turn them on their sides and glue both sets together. I place binder clips to hold the boxes together on the front. And then I flip the boxes over and place tape across the seams on the back to hold everything together until the glue set up. I waited until the next day before moving on, allowing the glue enough time to set up. I stained the boxes and drawers with bare water-based stain in the color Golden Pecan. Then, with my Cricut, I created a file using a design from design bundles for the front of the drawers. You can stencil the design on or apply the vinyl, whichever you prefer. I decided to stencil. To get clean, crisp lines, I applied a thin layer of Mod Podge before stenciling the drawers. I used white acrylic paint and a makeup sponge to dab the paint over the stencil. Then remove the stencils to reveal the amazing pattern. I then placed the drawers back into the boxes, but we're not done yet. I found the middle of each drawer with a ruler, going from corner to corner, and placed a small X. Drilled holes on the X so I could add little pulls to the front of the drawers. For the pulls, I used little circles painted with gold metallic paint. I then cut a small piece of faux leather ribbon and unthreaded it so I had one small piece for each drawer. I tied the circles onto the ribbons and used a pair of tweezers to help. This was a little bit tricky. I secured each pull with a dab of hot glue. Finally, I glued down 4 Dollar Tree mini blocks for the feet and let them dry for 8 hours. This is the Michaels version, but I was able to recreate it for less than $5 using items from Dollar Tree. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I have had this Dollar Tree hanging shelf in my stash for a long time now, just waiting for the perfect project. Well, I finally figured out the perfect project. I removed the original twine that comes attached to the shelf. I removed the loop from the top and set it to the side. I actually worked on the first side last night. I wanted to make sure I was able to show you how to do it, and I wasn't sure if I would like it. I used macrame cording from my stash and cut 2 long pieces. I started by placing the cording through the 2 holes on the side. I then tied a knot with all 4 cords, trying to make sure I had the same distance from the shelf as I did on the other side. I want to start by saying, I don't know all the knot names in macrame. I just like how they look and have figured out how to do a few on my own. With that being said, I don't know what this knot is called, but it's one of my favorites. You have 4 cords. You want to lay them out flat and use the 2 cords on each side to make your knot. With whichever side you choose, create the number 4 with the cord, making sure the cord is going over the top of the 2 middle cords. Take the cord from the other side, place it over the tail of the 4 and under the 2 middle cords. While holding the 2 middle cords, start working the knot up to where you want it by pulling the 2 end cords. Create the number 4, place cord over the tail of the number 4, under the 2 cords in the middle, and pull. As you are working, you'll notice the 2 center cords are beginning to twist around. Just flip them over and continue. I continued doing this until the side was about the same length as the other. I then held the shelf up, trying to make sure it was level, and then tied the cording around the top loop that came with the original shelf. Walmart sells these shelves anywhere from $14 to $17. I made this for $1. I think I'm going to hang this in the kitchen at the window above the sink and put some plants on it. I think that would be adorable. For this Boho Farmhouse-inspired project, I used 2 glass jars for my stash and some twine. I started out by placing a small dab of hot glue at the rim of the first jar and began wrapping the twine around it. As I worked my way down, I pushed the twine tightly together. When I got to the bottom, I used more hot glue to hold the twine in place. The jar went in at the bottom, and without hot glue, the twine kept slipping off. Once the entire jar was wrapped, I used a lighter to burn all the little hairs off. You could skip this step if you like the look of the hairs, but I don't. On the second jar, I placed painter's tape around the section that was clear. I painted the glass with folk art terracotta paint. I removed the tape and began working twine around the middle section the same way I did on the first jar. Sometimes when painting glass, the paint will chip off. To avoid this, I applied a layer of Delta Creative's all-purpose sealer to the painted areas. To decorate the jars, I placed some paper towels in the bottom of the jars and used Spanish moss and a couple of succulents from my stash. This recreation came from some vases I saw while shopping and took a picture of. I'm not sure, but I think it was at Hobby Lobby. My phone is full of inspiration images. What about yours? Just look at how adorable they turned out. Today's video is part of the Recreation Inspiration Collab, hosted by 6 Kids and a Glue Gun, Crafty Art Shack, and Lowly D's Creations. This month we were challenged to recreate some of our favorite inspiration pieces. I went with a Boho Farmhouse theme because I adore the look. Be sure to check out the playlist for more recreation inspirations. For this Boho Farmhouse-inspired recreation, I'll show you how I used an Xtool D1 Pro to engrave a target bullseye tray with a Boho Farmhouse-inspired design. To start, I created the design file using Lightburn and a file from Design Bundles that I adjusted to my liking. The engraving process took about 2.5 hours with a 20-watt laser, but the end result was definitely worth it. While waiting for it to finish, I was able to clean my workshop and organize my tools. Once the engraving was done, I cleaned it up by blowing off any soot with an air hose. And the detail on the tray is just stunning. But don't worry, if you don't have a laser, this project can also be accomplished with a vinyl cutting machine. I originally liked the pink edging on the tray, but it didn't quite fit the look I was going for. So I used some burnt umber acrylic paint and a small paintbrush to paint over the pink with 2 light coats. The final result is just gorgeous and cost me only $5 for the tray, compared to the $70 inspiration piece from Kohl's. I was initially planning on staining it to match the Kohl's version, but I saw the natural wood and fell in love with it even more than the original. I am so thrilled with the way it turned out, and I hope this video inspires you to take on your own DIY project. Let's wrap up this video by showing some love. Don't forget to leave a like and drop a comment below. Your engagement is incredibly valuable to me, as it helps my channel reach more people just like you. Keep on crafting, and I'll see you in the next one.